Good, healthy swig there to start an episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, number one podcast about stuff and things stuff that are important to everybody across the world, across the universe, across the astral plane. It is what it is. Accept it in your heart of hearts and your soul of souls, because we are the number one podcast of such and things, proven by people far, far smarter than myself or yourself or anybody in the world. They are the smartest people in the universe. Welcome back to another episode. I believe this is episode 104, because I am good at math and stuff. Another episode, another week, another fun conversation. So without further ado, let's welcome back our dreadlock esteemed colleague, the one and only Mr. Christian.
How's it going, everybody? Feels good to be back for another week. We have things to talk about, and I'm excited.
And apparently, like, the time of recording this, I just finished recording my other podcast, Behind the Vocals. So I am just surrounded by dreadlock gentlemen today. And he puts your dreads to shame. His dreads
his are way longer than mine.
I interviewed Brian Fair from Shadows Fall, and his dreads, what do you say, 25 years or something he's been growing them? And they're like touching the ground. They're crazy.
I don't know if I want mine to be touching the ground. Like right now,
Why do I fully expect you to look like the Valerian? You kind of already do look like the Valerian.
Which one?
The dad.
Corliss?
Yes, I was trying to think of his name. I mean, honestly, that's your Halloween costume. Spray your beard and your hair and just let it go.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about that, to be honest.
I mean, that's a super, well, minus the clothes would probably kind of suck, but it's a pretty easy costume to do.
Yeah, as far as ideas go, like it's a simple one. It's pretty spot on.
Mrs. in chat just actually said that's a great idea. Do it. Oh, and your partner could be whatever, his wife. What's her name?
Rainey's.
Yeah, dude, y'all should, and then you should bring like a little dragon. Just have like a little dragon with you.
That'd be cool.
I mean, there you go. I helped you. You're welcome.
You did. I had some ideas for that too, like not for that costume, but just in general. But none of them are as good as being Corliss. I think that would be cool.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think ideas cool. About not coming because you hate Halloween. That's what it is. Heard it here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Cut. That's all you need to know. Christian hates Halloween. Confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
See? He's got nothing.
So I guess we should jump right into like what we've been, watching, reading, listening to, all that.
All right, what we've been watching, reading, listening to, playing. I guess I'll start because I haven't really done a lot. I have been stupid busy. As mentioned, I just did an interview with Brian Fair of Shadows Fall. Last week I interviewed Milo from Fear Factory. So I've been crazy busy with that and other stuff, content, projects going on, all that stuff. So I haven't got to play any games or anything. I know there's a game that come out that I'm actually curious about, and I was going to message you about downloading. It's a free game called First Descendant.
Okay.
And it's on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, cross-platform, cross-play, all that good stuff. So I think I'm going to check it out. And then I know Once Human is coming out soon, and I'm pretty stoked to check that out as well. Other than that, I haven't really got to play anything or do anything. I've been busy. I did finish my book, the Corey Taylor book. So I was able to wrap that up, and now I'm going to decide if I am feeling Pet Sematary, because that is on my list, or if I'm going to like another almost like music biography kind of thing. I really do enjoy those. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to dive into another book. Or I may start getting recommendations, but I may wait till closer October to get some of the ones you were reading, some of the horror books, and kind of go through them and see if they're on there.
I have some advice, actually, on that.
Well, before you have advice, what's your advice?
My advice is look into Pet Sematary closer to the fall, only because that's one of my favorites. That's my favorite Stephen King novel, and it's one of my favorite books that I've read in the last few years.
So that should be like my spooky book to be listening to, maybe like August, September.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Well, then I'll probably just find like a music one or something I can probably breeze through. Because I knocked that out. Like, I don't get to listen to it like hours on end every day, but I'll get to put like 30, 40 minutes here and there, like while I'm doing something. And I actually liked it, and I'm getting to, I don't know, soak in the knowledge without having to sit down and actually read. Like, I can multitask. So that works for me. I did hear stuff. I know In a Violent Nature is coming soon. I think it might be time of recording this. You might be able to rent it or buy it digitally. I'm not sure. Christian, do you know? Maybe rent it.
I don't. I think you actually. I'm not sure. I want to look that up while you're talking, so I'm gonna do that right now.
But I was talking to a buddy of mine who is also a big horror fan, and they informed me they heard that people were actually getting physically sick from watching this. Which, in all fairness, you hear from like any movie with gore ever, people get sick. But I will continue to say this until I watch it, and then either you know that I'm super disappointed, I hate everything, or I'm happy with it. I'm so excited for this, for the POV of being behind the killer in a slasher movie. I'm so incredibly excited for this, and I hope it's good. I want it to be good so bad. Other than that, yeah, I really don't have much going on.
I don't see the full on streaming release date right now, but you can rent it for like $7, like especially on YouTube. You can rent it right now. But yeah, you can totally rent it, which is great. It's weird though because the IMDb it has a 5.8 out of 10, but then when you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 81%.
What do we trust?
So,
though? Like honestly, ratings don't always mean much to me because a lot of times, like I think you just have to watch for yourself. Sometimes they're spot on. You'll be like, "Oh, it's a 3. Oh yeah, it's definitely a 3." Like that movie sucked. And there's other times I'm like, that rating is lower than what I thought for me personally. Like I like it.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Granted, this is gonna be considered a B movie, right?
I think so. To be honest,
I don't know.
like,
Or is it borderline? Because I mean, it was a Shudder original that ended up getting a theatric release.
Mhm.
So I don't really know where we put this.
That's a good. I think it's up to us after we see it because this is one I definitely want to watch for sure.
This will be one we'll for sure talk about on the podcast. You guys will get to hear it. I'm excited for it. Time of recording this though, we're recording this a day earlier than normal. We are tomorrow's 4th of July, so I'm sure we'll be doing festive things and stuff. Inquiring minds have to know. I know one thing I'm going to do tomorrow, Christian, and if you say you're not doing this, then I'm just going to shun you.
Okay.
Are you watching Jaws tomorrow?
If I can find it, then absolutely. Because I actually don't own that movie yet.
I feel like it's a 4th of July thing. Even if it's in the background, you have to have Jaws to some capacity. I feel like it just goes with the 4th.
If I don't full on watch it, I'll definitely watch some scenes from it just because, yeah, like you said, it is a 4th movie and it's the time of year.
It's on the 4th too in the movie, right? Yeah, because that's why they can't close it because it's their money-making weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also,
I'm glad you brought that up. The town that it's like Archer. What is it? What was the town? Yes, it is. The scene where like the shark actually comes up on the boat for the very first time. They've turned that into a Lego set that's coming out later this year, and that's exciting news for people who love Legos.
Do you collect Legos?
Mm-mm. Okay. No, Legos are way out of my price range.
The wife's brother and dad have collected some Legos, and I feel like Baby Sin will be into them. He likes building stuff, but they get expensive quick.
They get pricey real fast.
There's some really dope ones, but they get super expensive quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. But yeah, man, I just thought that was some cool news. But we'll move on.
What have you been into this past week?
I mean, I've been busy as well. Not as busy as you don't think, but I spent a little time reading some stuff. I read some comic book stuff. I won't really get into it too much here just because some of the stuff I've been reading isn't like super noteworthy. Just been trying to catch up on some things. I did reread Batman Earth. I think it's called Earth 2 or Earth 3. Oh, geez. Can I seriously not remember what I just read like yesterday? But I started rereading that. And I really enjoy it. Earth 1. It's called Batman Earth 1. Jeez, I was like way off. But anyway, I started reading that, really enjoyed it. I've read it before and I own it somewhere, but it's been a while since I was able to like, really get into it. So I started rereading that, read the second volume, and then I am like halfway through the third volume currently. So I'm reading that. I'm reading it digitally because I don't own all those copies physically as of right now. And then aside from that, I watched a couple things. Some we'll talk about here in depth in a minute. I know I watched some other things that we don't typically talk about. I'm trying to remember what it was. Um, Man, it's hard to remember sometimes because I try to consume a bunch of like media when I have the opportunity, and then I like move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I try not to retain too much of that stuff because then I'll end up talking about it forever. But I did watch some things. I've listened to a couple things. No, like novels right now. Just I haven't been back into the mindset to really start reading and give that a chance. But I did start listening again to a band I listened to years and years ago. Not metal, just like basic kind of rock. They're called Idiot Pilot, and I listen to them when I need to just like chill out because that's the kind of music that is. So I've been listening to that, trying to chill, get back in the mindset of drawing every day while I like put this house together. So that's what I've been doing mostly, aside from just typical housework, trying to get stuff together, trying to get things up and running. And then my wife's birthday is coming up, so preparing for that as well.
Nice.
So aside from that, that not too much. Yeah, thank you. But yeah,
At least you
just
being a
doing that.
homeowner doing all the fun adult things.
Right, I know, like fixing stuff.
Yeah,
It's
fun,
great.
isn't it? Super fun.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling what we're going to talk about, if you will. So I'll let you continue with that.
So I want to tell you, I did a shrimp bowl the Saturday, right?
Mhm.
And as the food was cooking, I was chatting with some of the others, and one of the others is an anime watcher, and so obviously we got on Demon Slayer and different animes, and they started asking me if I've seen this or that one, different ones, and throwing stuff. And me being a novice, I will admit it, I am a novice. I have not watched a ton of anime. What I've watched, you guys pretty much have heard about for the most part. We've talked about on the show, but one that was brought up that you've brought up, and I think especially now that we are done with the new episodes, I think I'm gonna try it.
Mhm.
And I told the wife about it earlier, and I told her basically what you guys told me about it, and I don't know if there's anything else because she asked, and I was like, I have no clue. But Blue Lock, Blue Lock was brought up, and they were told how good it is, and I was like, I don't know, it's soccer, and then that's all I know. I don't know what else, and yeah, so I think we might try that. But I am gonna rewatch, and you can laugh at me, and I know there's haters for dub, but I am gonna rewatch Demon Slayer and dub. Deal with it. I'm gonna rewatch it again, and you can just like it, mainly because I just want to rewatch it. So deal with it. So the new episodes or the new season is starting to drop in dub, so I'm gonna rewatch it. For some reason, they come out in French first, and now they're coming out in English. But I'm gonna rewatch them in dub, and you all can, suck on that. Whatever.
So I remember like I think it was last summer, I talked in tandem about Blue Lock and
Yeah,
how good
you've
it
told me to
is and
watch
all
it
this
multiple times. I don't
multiple
know.
times.
I don't know. Soccer is not something that I really get into, and I don't know.
Right.
You don't have enough. She asked, she was like, "Is it just soccer?" And I was like, "Hell, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen."
It's like, so I'm not really a sports fan. That this you guys know, especially if you listened to this before. You guys know I'm not a huge sports fan, but I gave Blue Lock a chance. I just watched the first episode just because, on a whim, and fell in love with it. And I talked to a woman at my current job. I talked to her about it. She started watching it. She's hooked, right? And she's like, "How many seasons is it?" And I told her that it was just one. And she was like, "No, I'm almost done. What do I do when it's over?" And that just kind of reminds me of how you were when you started watching Demon Slayer finally. And then you got done with that season that was out. And you were like, "Oh no, what do I do?" And I was like, "You got to wait like the rest of us." But it's really good. And I don't know anything about soccer whatsoever. I'm not a soccer fan. I don't watch. I don't play it. None of the things. But the show is fantastic. Imagine you've watched anime, so just think about things that you've watched that you like. Demon Slayer being one of them. Dragon Ball being another. Like those things, the intensity of those like fights, if you will, the action, but it's a sport instead of just regular hand to hand combat. So that's how you apply that, and it's fantastic. It's
Okay.
it's it's so good, easy to get into. You're going to binge it. Like I'm telling you right now, you're going to binge it.
Okay.
And I'm excited for you to watch it. I'm excited for you to watch it. I'm excited for you to see Demon Slayer actually get in dub, because once you get attached to the way a character sounds, that's how they are to you.
Honestly,
So
like
I
sub doesn't bother me, and you would be so proud of me. I am the world's worst, and a lot of it is like me being a content creator. Like I don't get to clock out like a 9 to 5. Like when I'm done my work day, I'm not like, okay, I'll see it in the morning, which is could be bad, but it's also like my brain is always working towards that. So I'm always like, I need to check this or I need to do this, or like it's always like that wheel spinning. So it's luckily I can multitask fairly well, where like I can watch a show and comprehend what's going on while doing something else. Obviously, when you're watching a sub anime, you can't really multitask. You got to pay attention to what the hell is being said on the screen, or you're not going to know what's going on. Right? So, I mean, Demon Slayer, usually I'm like, I try to hide my phone and everything. I'm like, all right, this 20 to 40 minutes, I'm locked in to every syllable Tanjiro and them utter. Like, I'm on it. This is like my time. And I need to do that for Parasite. I started Parasite. I need to do that and do a better job of that. But
I
I'm
will
excited.
say that I know for a fact that Blue Lock is officially it has its official dub, because the woman that I mentioned earlier, she's watching the dub version because she also is a dub over sub fan. So that's
Well, I
how
mean,
she's
I wouldn't
watching
say
it.
I don't know if it matters. Like to be able to multitask, yeah, but like sub doesn't bother me. It's all like I didn't bitch about watching Demon Slayer and sub. I was just like,
Right.
new episodes coming out, sub, cool, whatever, let's go, give them to me. I need it in my body. I need it injected.
I'm sure we said this before on and off,
I
you
know there's a
know,
huge debate
the
though.
pod.
People get like all pissy about dub and sub. You're
I
probably
know
one of
that,
them,
like I
aren't you?
said, no, I used to be, but no, it's like this. For me, the argument that most people that prefer the sub make is this.
Stuff's lost in
I
translation.
enjoy.
Is that it?
It's not. Yes, that's a part of it for sure. But the other part is I enjoy hearing the material in its native language, because then I know the inflection that was meant. I know the intensity that was meant. I know the softness that was meant in certain scenes. Like I know exactly what I'm supposed to be feeling and what that character is feeling by what the native actors are displaying. Right. So that's what I enjoy. However, I do understand that, sometimes people can't get over the fact that they have to read subtitles. I totally understand. And then some dubs are just really good. There are dubs that I 1000% prefer. Dragon Ball being one of them. I will die on the hill that the dub for Dragon Ball is infinitely better than the sub. I just love it so much more. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is another example. Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, um, Outlaw Star, like a bunch of those older like 90s early anime. The dubs are really well done. Not for everything, obviously. There's some that are really bad, but like I just like those because I grew up with them and I like the way the characters sound. And uh, Stephen Blum, like he just has that kind of voice that rolls, in your ears. But when it comes to anime now, I always prefer to watch the sub, especially with the type of anime that I like to watch. I like to watch a lot of shonen stuff. I like to watch high intensity things. I like to watch, anime that has horror elements to it. So when I hear those characters, yelling, screaming, fighting, grunting, all that in their native tongue, it just sounds a little better to me. And I enjoy the way that the language sounds as well. So it doesn't bother me. And then reading it doesn't bother me at all either, because I'm already so locked into what's happening. Just reading it kind of just flows. And once you start doing it a little bit, it's you don't think about it at all. You just do it. Um, so that's how I prefer to have that. Now, like for an example, Solo Leveling, the main character sounds really cool in English, so I would watch it dubbed. But I watched the first episode subbed and got used to his voice, so that's what I needed to hear moving forward. But yeah, man, like I said, I totally can watch some stuff dub if I want to, but sub's just better for me because I like to pay full attention when I'm watching something anyway. I get completely locked into what's happening around me, so sub just works for me.
Okay.
But moving on.
All right,
Um,
going from anime
yeah,
to not talking about anime just yet. That's right. We're moving on to the boys,
that's
and
right.
this would be episode 5.
This was
4.
episode 5, yes.
Yeah, 5.
And I believe it's
Um,
called "Beware the Jabberwock, My Son." Is what
yeah.
the episode's called.
And before we kind of start talking about it, all I'm gonna say is flying sheep. What the hell? This episode was I think we got an explanation for Butcher and what happened.
It's not a great one, but we got one.
I mean, I'm gonna assume that's what happened is those damn tentacles like come out of his mouth or something and destroyed Ezekiel. Is that his name?
Yeah, Ezekiel.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume that's what happened.
Ooh, I know that whatever happened, like it makes perfect sense, especially when you see the stuff like crawling around in Butcher's body, that like worm thing. So ew.
Because we see one in a rabbit. There's lots of V'd up farm animals. We have chickens. We have cows. We have.
I believe Butcher called it the Kentucky Fried Massacre. Is what he called it.
It's such a. I mean, you can't say it's a fucked up episode because that's every boys episode is like that.
Yeah.
We see Homelander almost being a good dad at one point. Kind of just like, what do you want to do, son? Like, screw these other people. What do you want to do? But at the same time, it's kind of like, we can do as we please. What do you want to do? No one else can do shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pretty much torture director, right? Well, they don't really torture. They just have him get the hell beat out of him by like a PA.
Who he was, you know.
No, yeah, he deserves it. And he, but yeah, I mean, you're starting to give Ryan that, that, like, whatever Homelander has, like the, not, I guess it is kind of a God complex. Like, I can do as I want and nobody can say anything else, like, other than Homelander.
True.
But yeah, do you want to kind of go into the episode and just talk about it?
Yeah, like I didn't write a lot of notes on this. I'm just kind of spitballing off of memory, and then also I have like a couple pictures, full disclosure, pulled up on my screen to try to give me somewhere to go. But I know when the episode started off, they were at like Vought's version of like, what's it called? Shoot, I know their version is called V52.
Comic-Con like thing.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Disney's Showcase, and I think it's called D23, I think is what it's called. But they were doing that essentially. So you have phases of Vought's, like I think it's called the VCU, where the Vought Cinematic Universe, and all of this is starting off with training A Train, which is hilarious. So I like to see all of that stuff. The Seven kind of gathers up and start talking about all this. Then you go to the hospital and you see that Hugh Sr. or Simon Pegg's character wakes up and has like no memory of having a stroke. He's telling his wife Daphne and son about having a full recovery, and I believe the words he uses are "true blue miracle," which is crazy because we already know that V, like regular ass V, is blue, which he got pumped with by Huey's mom, Daphne, I just mentioned earlier. She does say, and then that's the whole thing. Like, who did it? They kind of tell you who did it at the end of the episode because she's sitting there like not surprised at all that he opens his eyes. But she tells Huey that she did it because she thought that's what Huey wanted because he brought it there and it was in his jacket. She got it out and did her thing. And Huey, was pretty much saying that he didn't want to do it after he got there because he didn't want, anything bad to happen to his dad. He just wanted to let him go, which was cool. And then we get a conversation later on, Hugh Sr. and Huey essentially saying, you remember Jar Jar? And I was like, where are they going with this? But then you find out Jar Jar was their pet cat that Huey couldn't let go of when they should have put the cat down. And then he started, throwing up and pooping all over the house, and he lost control of all of his bodily functions and just kind of like blew up because they never, put him down like they needed to. And it's all because Huey just doesn't have the ability to let go. He's very childish in that way. And he knew that Daphne, the mother, would be able to make a hard decision to let him go if it's what he needed to do, which leads us to, some events that happen a little bit later. Then they go back to like the Truth Bomb show with Firecracker, and good God, the stuff that she says, like, this it's a lot is all I'll say. She just says a lot about Starlight and her termination of a child and all this stuff. It's a lot to go on, but I do know one part that made me laugh really hard that was also horrible was when Butcher shows up and Starlight starts laying into him about how she doesn't trust him and this and that. And he straight up looks at her and says, I'd call you a cunt, but you don't have the depth or the warmth. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Because we just found out that she, terminated a pregnancy. So like saying that right after, I was like, God dang, dude.
Butcher's
What
a
are you,
savage.
dude? And he said it so quick, dude. I was like, oh my God. So like that's happening, and then Butcher pretty much tells them that he knows about this virus that you can use to kill Soups. It's not strong enough to kill Homelander, but it can kill everybody else. Blah blah. Blah. Oh, something I forgot to say. If you watch this episode and you have not seen Gen V, they ruin the whole season for you in a quick recap at the beginning of the episode
I haven't
because we're
watched
going to
it.
see like they straight up go over the whole season in like 8 seconds at the begin. The recap for the episode, like when it first starts off, is essentially a recap for the entire season of Gen V. And I was like, damn, bro, they didn't give anybody a warning. They just went right into it. So that kind of sucks. And then if you haven't seen it, so you don't know who the fuck those two characters are that just show up at the 7. You have no idea who they are, which is crazy. So I just think that that's a lot to take in if you haven't watched it. By the way, fucking watch Gen V, dude. It's the shit, and it's a tie-in to The Boys, as you can see. So
Okay.
get on that, dude. Imagine The Boys in college. That's literally what it is.
That sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm. But in the best way. So, and it's in The Boys
You know what The
universe.
Boys
like
reminds me of? This is like the
What's
best
that?
comparison I have to a show. Do you ever watch Shameless?
Yes.
Okay, you know how every episode of Shameless you'd be like, wow, this makes me feel better about my own family. Pretty much everybody, because, everybody thinks their family is like the most fucked up family ever. But you would watch and be like, wow, there's nothing else they could do to top the shittiness I just saw. And then the next episode, you're like, I was wrong. And then it just, every episode, it was like that. And this is what I feel like watching The Boys. Like, every episode, I'm like, I want to be shocked, but I'm like, it's The Boys. I'm not going to be shocked. Like, it's always going to be something over the top.
Just constantly escalates.
Yeah.
That's what happens here, man. Like, it's a lot.
But I'm
going on.
for it, though. Like, if it doesn't escalate, I'm probably going to be disappointed.
I get it, man. I get it. And I feel the same way. Like, if they don't keep. But you already kind of brought up like Ryan and Homelander have a bonding moment because Homelander, starts listening to Ryan and being a good dad, pretty much letting him know that nobody else in the world exists. It's just them. He pretty much gives Ryan autonomy of himself. He says, if you don't want to do this show or this movie, then we don't have to do it. Like all kinds of stuff. Like just being a good person. So that's cool to see, but it's not going to end well. And back with the boys, not Homelander, but Butcher pretty much tells them that he can get them that virus, but he's going to need a couple of things. And one of them being a presidential pardon so they could get out Stan Edgar, the former CEO of VOT. So that's crazy. And I really enjoyed seeing him back because what's his name? Juan Carlo Esposito. Like he's great.
Yeah, I love
He's a
him.
fantastic actor. Yeah, seriously, man. Anything he's in, I'll watch just to see what he does in it. So, like, really, really, really good to see him back.
He's such a good,
really
sophisticated bad guy.
I know, man. Like, that's the bad guy you root for, and that's what you want in something like this. You see that going back to the expo for V52, Ashley pretty much tells God, I can't think of the guy's name right now.
The anchor
who like runs
guy?
the news. Yeah, the anchor guy. Yeah, she pretty much tells. What is his name? Cameron. I think his name's Cameron. Yeah, Cameron. She tells Cameron to pop back in his like anal beans or whatever. He says no and pretty much breaks up with her because he only likes dominant women who are actually dominant, and because she's no longer like on top of her shit, he doesn't have any use for her. So he pretty much dumps her like right there on the spot, which is crazy because your boy is married as hell And I forgot all about that. Like I constantly forget that character, has a wife and all that stuff. So I thought that was hilarious. Frenchie is openly self-medicating because of his guilt over murdering the family of his, I guess, ex-boyfriend years ago now. So that's happening. He's spiraling. Kimiko's not doing well. Like it's all over the place what's going on. But to kind of speed this along a little bit, the majority of the episode is A-Train trying to get out of trouble and get Ashley to help him frame somebody so that they can get everyone off of his back. And then Huey dealing with his dad, who ends up having a superpower to like phase through anything, I guess. And that turns out to be super horrific because he just starts like phasing people's hearts out of their chest, running through walls. He's got like onset dementia as well, so he's forgetting everything. He believes that he's back in time, and Huey's still a little like 9-year-old kid trying to get a Tech Night doll. So like it's insane. This episode was super 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 fucking sad. All of the scenes where he's like forgetting himself and Huey, and where they have to talk, and then even when you get towards the end of the episode when Huey like magically remembers how to make chemicals together to put his dad down, to euthanize his dad, essentially, like so fucking sad.
He
But
remembers
they
because
have
of
a like,
Frenchie, right? He's seen Frenchie do enough crap.
yeah, he said a French friend of his taught him a whole lot about drugs, which, I mean, really quick answer to get us to why he knows how to do that stuff. And I'm not super mad about it, to be honest. Like, I didn't care. The episode was good. The boys take Stan to go to Victoria's like hidden lab at a farm. She shows up because your boy has an ankle monitor on, so of course she's monitoring everything he does. And they kind of argue back and forth. We notice Starlight can't use her powers right now because of some kind of mental block, obviously.
A lot
Think
of
back to
erectile
like,
dysfunction references towards her powers.
exactly. And then all of the animals at this farm have been tested with either temp V or regular V, to see if this virus works. And chickens and sheep, a bull at one point, all are out to kill everyone. So they narrowly escape. They find Dr. Samir, and he's the person from Gen V that is in charge of making the virus. Is also, we find out, Victoria Newman, uh, like baby daddy, the father of I can't remember her kid's name right now, Zoe, I think. We see that's going on. They narrowly escape out of here. They have to use the only sample of the virus to actually get away. And then we see the Samir didn't make it, and they end up finding his leg at the end of the episode. But at the end of the episode, we get like a little post-credit scene on. Well, not really post-credit. The last thing before the credits. But he pops up, and Butcher is there with this guy that he's been talking to on and off for the whole season. And I had already had a theory, and I don't think I went over it on the pod, but I had a theory that I don't think this guy is real because we never see him talking to anyone aside from Butcher. He's never interacted with anyone. Every time he shows up, Butcher's by himself. Like it just fits to me that he's not actually there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then in this episode, they softly confirmed that he's not real, because at the end of the episode, once his leg is cut off and Dr. Samir's like, get away from me, you cut off my fucking leg, which is like, yeah, we're going to patch you up real nice, and points over to, I can't remember his character right now, but he points over to the guy, and then Dr. Samir looks over in that direction, and he looks really confused, like, who are you talking to? So if you get a chance, go back and watch that scene. I don't think that person is real.
Does make a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm. I just really, really don't think that. I've never thought that he was real, just because he just comes
CIA guy, out of, right?
Yeah, he is, but it's just too convenient.
Maybe it's
he comes out of nowhere.
That used to be in the CIA that Butcher knew that passed, or I don't know.
It is. It totally is, and that's what they say on the first episode. Butcher first runs into him after talking to Mallory, and she kicks him out of the office and shit. And then all of a sudden, when Butcher's by himself, this guy shows up. And then when Butcher's by himself again, he shows up. And then he knows everything about Butcher, all of his things. He knows he got kicked off the team. He knows that he can't go back to the team without doing this and now doing that. He knows everything about Homelander, everything about Riot. Like, how do you know all this information? There's no way he could have known that Butcher. I'm sorry, yeah. There's no way he could have known that Butcher got kicked off for the boys because it just happened and nobody told anybody that he got kicked off. So there's no way this dude's fucking real. It just doesn't make sense. So that's what I think about that. I forgot to mention that Homelander essentially tells them his soft plan, which is world domination, to the other superheroes. I mean, and then they find the person who's been leaking information, and thanks to Ashley, um, Cameron was framed, and Homelander tells all the other superheroes of the Seven to beat the shit out of that guy, Old Testament style. So they do, and A Train doesn't, but he specifically tells A Train to fuck this guy up, and A Train doesn't. He just watches. So I feel like that's going to come back to haunt him in the next episode.
Yeah.
I kind of hope not, because A Train is redeeming himself more and more each season, each episode. So like, I'd like to see him come out on top. But if the show is anything like the comics, that's not going to be the case.
Spoiler.
It's really not, because A Train is the exact opposite of what his character is in the comic. So in the comic, A Train is practically what the Deep is in the show. The way that the Deep acts in the show is the exact way that A Train acts in the comic books. So it's weird that they switch those characters around, because the Deep in the comic, nobody takes him seriously. He has this like old like deep sea diving helmet on. He never takes it off. Like they joke around with him all the time. Like nobody gives a shit about him in the comics. So he's barely in it. But in this one, they changed it around to make the characters a little bit more relatable and funny in certain ways. I like seeing that. I also want to know like what's the deal with Sister Sage, because she's clearly like playing everybody, but also telling the truth. So I'm trying to see how that's going to work.
Yeah, you can tell she's setting everything up, like
she
for
really
her own
is.
benefit in some shape or form.
Yeah, and then to the bunny of it all, in the episode at some point we see that Butcher finds a rabbit that has been shot up with a bunch of Temp V. He frees the rabbit, and he finds that same rabbit in the woods later on in the episode, breathing really hard, looking like it's suffering. It stops breathing, and then tentacles literally explode out of the fucking rabbit and start trying to grab Butcher. So Butcher like stomps it to death. And that gives us a good idea of what's happening or what has happened to Butcher. So I can't wait to see how that wraps up, because like I said, all of that is completely different from how it is in the comics.
It's probably kind of similar to what's her name? Zoe? Is that what you said her name is?
Yeah.
I think it's probably similar to her, right? Like, imagine coming out of the mouth.
I mean, it seems like it explodes out of his body somehow, and then he heals up when it goes back in. Because when he woke up from killing Ezekiel, like he had blood all over him. So I don't know if that was just all.
Could have been all his from like the gore of it. I don't know. We'll see how they.
Could have been.
We'll see how they play it out. All right. You have anything else from the boys, or?
I mean, it was a great episode. Where the Jabberwock was fantastic episode. I understand why. I really liked it. I actually watched the episode not twice, but like 1.5 times, just to catch a couple of things I thought I missed, and also, so like this was a really, really good episode. And if you haven't been keeping up with the season, like please watch it.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, taking a line from Christian, we had a finale. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen out there listening, I have failed you again because I did not watch Kaiju, the final 2 episodes. I've been busy. Get off my back. I will get to it. Hopefully this week I will get to watch it. Leave me alone. But what I did watch, and you better be damn sure I wasn't going to miss it, especially with social media. Literally all I saw Sunday was stills of the damn finale all day, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I couldn't look anywhere. I was trying to close my eyes, and all it was doing was making me want it more. I watched the finale of Demon Slayer, Hashira training arc.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it first, and then tell me what.
First off, I'm going to say this. This episode was what I have come to love and expect from Demon Slayer and more. Next, I'm going to say the animation in this episode is just absolutely next level. I mean, we have some insane cinema style shit happening that as it would happen, I would be like, damn, that is so good. This episode is exactly what I would hope. I knew, and you obviously kind of fueled the fire, but I knew the season would end strong. It was essentially a filler season, but honestly, it wasn't like a filler that when I go back and watch it, I'm going to skip. I'm going to watch through it. It's not that long. It was, 8 episodes? I think the first episode was like 40 minutes, and the last episode was around like 40-ish minutes.
Yeah, this episode was 40 minutes.
So, I mean, not that long. Each one's probably 20-something minutes, and it was cool filler. We still got some fights. We got to see Hashira fight, and we got to see Tanjiro training. We got to see backstories, what happened to certain Hashira and stuff. So, it was cool. Definitely condensed. I could see how they could elaborate a lot more on backstories from the different ones, because I'm sure they were way more in depth in the manga. But this episode in particular, we got to see, we got to see so much. We got to see, as we talked about, Muzan was there with the master in the last episode. He had found him. We got to see their final their conversation that you've been wanting to see face to face. They get to say what they want to say to each other. And we get to also properly knight me as the Demon Slayer Master now for knowing that they were related and Christian didn't know. So for once, I knew some shit about a manga that Christian didn't know.
I just happened to forget, man.
Yeah, See, I was right. So I will take a round of applause now for all listeners. No, but we got to hear the conversation talking about the family, and we were way the hell off. Didn't we say like 200 years or something last week?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 years. Like, he's old as shit. His mom's been around for a minute. And they get to talk. They have a conversation back and forth, and pretty much is just Muzan bashed him like, you look horrible, and blah, 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 and all this shit. And the master gives a nice long speech, and then he makes a statement which I was like, oh, this is a damn trap. Because at one point he says, you have listened to what I had to say longer than I expected. And I was like, you've set him up for some shit. Because literally you're like, I anticipated to do something beforehand, but you're still listening. So you see his kids playing out there, the master's twin daughters, correct? Mm-hmm. Playing out there. His wife's with him. And then right as Muzan's about to take out the master, flames erupt and explosions, plural, happen. And right as the explosions are about to happen, you cut to see the Hashira, which I do have a question. Kind of pausing the episode. You have never referenced them as this, so I'm wondering if this is a manga thing. I've seen somewhere people reference them as the Pillars. Are they called the Pillars?
I'm pretty sure they are in the.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they say that in the manga, but
they've never called them that in the show. I saw somewhere somebody said something about the Pillars, and I was like, okay. But anyways, you see all the Hashira, all the active Hashira, I should say, running to go to the master, trying to make it with Tanjiro in tow. Pretty much Tanjiro is at this point, you might as well say he's an honorary Hashira. Dude has the most upper demon experience, upper moon as Christian calls it. Experience. Yeah. He's fought or been there for the fights of all of them in the show, which would be how many at this point? Four,
yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's been there for a lot, so he has the most experience.
Not the twins, but the brother.
He's earned their respect. He's essentially an honorary Hashira without being one. All of them are in tow, running, and right as I think it's wind is about to get there, the explosions happen, which freeze all of them, and then they jump, and they all lock their eyes on Muzan, who's already, after the explosion, regenerated like stupid fast. Like, particles are in the air of the explosion, and he's already regenerating his full body, which shows how insanely powerful he is. But all of them get to see him, and then Tanjiro, of course, screams Muzan. Then he screams his name again. But before that, once he starts regenerating and he's kind of getting back, he gets... Bloodseed? Was that what it was called? which essentially is like spikes all through his body, kind of like restricting him. And what's her name again? It's Dr. Demon's what I keep calling her. What's her name?
You do call her that a lot. Tamio.
Tamio shoves her hand into his abdomen. And pretty much she's like regenerating around him, and he's what does she say? He's absorbing it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she pretty much tells him,
he absorbs the antidote.
Yeah, and she pretty much says that there's an antidote that turns demons back into humans that I've been perfecting. So I knew you would absorb this blow, so that's why, because he's absorbing the blood seeds as well too. He's absorbing everything to get out quicker. So she's kind of got him pinned for the moment. And that's when all the Hashira leap up, and then they all simultaneously attack, and they're jumping, which is such an epic scene, seeing all of them diving in, to which he then teleports them into the Infinity Castle, all of them. But not just them, we also see Nosuke in typical humorous fashion trying to eat a fish, gets teleported. We see Win's brother, and we see Zenjutsu all get teleported. So which sets us up for Infinity Castle. And they announced it would be a trilogy of movies coming to theaters, done by Sony and Crunchyroll, right? I think it was Sony and Crunchyroll.
I believe so. I'll double check, but yeah.
But what we don't see before is, while he's pinned, Stone, we finally get to see in action with his, I don't even know what you call that. It's like a axe with whatever on the other end. He goes in and goes ham. Like, I can't wait to watch him on a full-scale battle, because he looked badass fighting. I was like, oh, shit, okay. So it was, again, animation, top tier, fantastic. And before we kind of get into your thoughts and everything on it, Ms. Sim brought back up the secret at the end. The what the hell is it called? You know what I'm talking about? It's like the
Taisho secret.
The what?
Taisho secret.
Yeah. You have a cameo from Rengoku himself, the Flame Hashira. You get to hear his voice. You don't see him, but you hear him talk, which is a little emotional, I'm not gonna lie, because dude had like, oh man, his death was beautiful.
It was sick, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. Trilogy's gonna go so hard. These movies, I can't wait. It's just gonna be where this episode or this season may have been slower. I fully expect the 3 movies to just be balls to the wall, as we are in the Infinity Castle, which we know pretty much the demons have been recalled back, right? Like, they're pretty much all there waiting, and Muzan's got them in there with all of his upper ranks left. And it's just about to be all-out war. Like, literal, this is the war, the night. And it's about to be insane. It's about to be so good. Christian, what did you think about the episode?
And so, like, in a nutshell, I think that this was a really good way to wrap it up. It got people really excited. You get the cameo that we talked about briefly with the voice. You get a little bit of action. You get to see characters, like, really trying. It was obviously animated beautifully. This is just what you want, especially when you're leading up to the end of a season, to go right into a movie. Because they've done this before, but like every time they do it, it just hits a different way. And this was really good. So like seeing this and like hearing the music behind it and like how intense it could get with the music, like it was good. It's a good time. I'm very excited for the movies, plural, even though I know that they're going to break that up, them coming out. I can't wait to see what we got, man. I want to see it. I want to see how it looks. I want to see what people's reactions to them are. And I just hope that they're as good as the show has been. Like I said, this season has been the weakest season of all of the other ones. But just because it's a weak season doesn't mean it's a weak show. And I'm really happy that it gets to continue.
It's a filler season. For sure.
I mean, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
But it could have been worse. Like, yeah, they could have drug out a long season of filler before.
It makes more sense, too, why it was only 8 episodes.
Yeah. That finale was fantastic, though. It was so good. I can't wait to watch the Hashira go in. So I fully expect, and this is my prediction, and we can go back and circle back to this when we get to see it. Not all Hashira are coming out of this alive. I fully expect death. because shit is going to hit the fan. There is
go?
no way they're all coming out alive. And we all know that they don't leave battles unscathed, especially with the top 4 still there.
Who do you think's gonna die?
Man, that's tough. Mrs. Sin keeps saying insect because she's the weakest and can't behead anybody. But I feel like that's too easy of an answer, and I feel like one of the stronger ones will end up sacrificing themselves to protect somebody like her and save her life. Based off this season, I fully expect Water to go. I think Water will die because Water was made it known I shouldn't have been here. The other one sacrificed himself and went over there fighting, whenever I should have been, all this. I kind of think Water will go. I want to say Stone might, but I don't know. The missus in chat just said, I bet Serpent will die protecting Love because he has a thing for her. That's possible too. I think, I don't know. I kind of think several will die, and I think the ones that do survive, if any survive, are definitely going to be along the lines of Sound, and they're going to be like, pretty much they're retiring because they're fucked up. Like they're just, they can't. And I'm for it. I love that. I love the fact that they're essentially superheroes, but they go into these battles with their equivalents on the opposite end, and they come out just wrecked.
They really do, man.
And I think that's really cool. I think that's one of the biggest selling points for me. Even Tanjiro may have all of his limbs and everything, but with his shirt off, he's scarred up already.
Which is nice to see because, he's been putting in work for a while.
I'm very curious to see how everything goes with Nezuko and with Tanjiro and everything, the finale. And, dude, I can't wait. I'm going to go to the theater to watch them. I'm going to have to. I won't be able to wait.
All right.
How quick do you think they'll come out?
That's a question that I can't answer, and I wish that I could because I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they even started
I'm hoping it'll
them.
be quick.
I don't know. Because
it
takes time to animate and do the stuff that they do. Because their animation is insane.
I know that the trailer for the first movie came out it's a teaser.
Yeah.
You don't see anything. It's just music, black screen, then it tells you that it's coming out. And I don't remember it having a date. I think it just said. Actually, I don't remember what it said.
No,
I don't know what
didn't say
date it
shit.
was.
They didn't give you anything.
Man, that really sucks.
Yeah. They were just like, hey, have fun. Just think about it for a while. I mean, how good is this ending going to be, though? Based off the manga, is it pretty good? Can you at least tell us that you're happy with the ending?
I wasn't when I first read it, but when I read it the second time, I was.
I don't know how to take
Hope that helps. It's not my favorite ending of all time, but I wasn't disappointed with the end.
I don't know how to take that, Christian. I'm not sure. All right. So we could talk Demon Slayer all night, and I would happily do so, but we need to shift gears and talk about dragons and things.
Okay, let's get it.
Roar and fly. House of the Dragon, episode 3? Yeah, episode 3.
Yeah. Also, I think it comes out next year. The first movie comes out next year.
Sure. Okay, Mrs. Sin first on Demon Slayer in Kick Chat just said, my prediction is that Tanjiro will have to become a demon to beat Muzan, and he'll end up dying to protect Nezuko. And if people are watching on YouTube, Christian is making a god-awful smirk, so I don't trust that. Look, can I say something someone told me, and I fussed at them and said no spoilers, and they said, well, I don't think that's true. Can I at least say?
Yeah.
I don't know. What if it's ruins it for people? Look, full disclaimer, I don't know if this is true or not.
Why are you smiling?
Full disclaimer, I don't know if this is true or not. Literally, this was told to me, so take it with a grain of salt. If Christian somehow confirms it over there, blame Christian if you're watching on YouTube. I was told, going piggybacking off of Mrs. Sin, no joke, by not Mrs. Sin, by another person, they said something about Tanjiro becoming a demon. And I was like, what the actual shit? Do not ruin stuff for me. And they were like, well, no, I don't think that's how it happens. And I was like, I don't trust you. I don't trust what you're telling me.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it.
Christian's going to be quiet. All right, we're going to House of Dragons so he doesn't ruin anything. Oh, wait, no, we didn't even talk about that. I'm such a failure. Such a failure. Back on Demon Slayer. Can we talk about how Zenitsu has the most cold moment in all of his stay in the show? As he's falling in the Infinity Castle, for once he's not crying and blubbering like a baby, which we don't know why he's upset. Something has happened. It has flipped a switch in him, and he is pissed. But he is fallen. His sword in front of him, he grabs it, puts it back in his belt, and opens an eye and doesn't flinch, doesn't even look phased. Looks like he's about to just go ruin the whole castle by himself. I was like, damn, he looked hard right there. He's about to have like a moment where like, damn, he's a badass. I'm for it. Because he's always been the humorous kind of like crybaby. And if he's about to have moments where he goes in, or he might die. I don't know. Christian won't tell us anything. He's just smiling. Christian sucks at stuff. All right, House of the Dragon. I'm going to read Mrs. Sin's notes, and then we'll let Christian go in. Mrs. Sin send me notes because that's what she does because, I don't write my own notes. I just take my wife's notes. Throne notes. They shouldn't have named so many damn kids after Aegon the Conqueror, and we've never had this issue. Jesus.
That's a great note.
So long story short, Mrs. Sin said, if you would just not name your kid the same damn name, we wouldn't have this problem. Number 2. It's about to be all-out war since Rhaenyra sees there is no other way, meaning she's about to just destroy everything. Number 3. The chick that talks to Daemon in his vision, is that the Red Priestess that talks to Varys in Game of Thrones? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yo, that is the rumor, Mrs. Sin. That is the rumor, and I think that I'm going to subscribe to that rumor.
Okay. Number 4. Rhaena was chosen as the one to keep the line alive, so she actually has the most important role in the war. Number 5. Pretty sure the eggs were Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal that were given. And another note, final note, and then we can go in. Another note is I think Laenor is actually dead now since Seasmoke is so upset. So there we go. That's Mrs. Sin's detailed notes to piggyback off Christian, and now we can commence with Christian's and his thoughts on her notes.
So I'm gonna reply to your notes really quick. In the book, Laenor is dead, and that's why Seasmoke is all restless and stuff. But in the show, I think Laenor is alive, but he's like on the other side of the world, and he's just like let go of everything, being a dragon rider, his family, lineage, all that stuff. So it's essentially like losing a partner for Seasmoke, and that's why he's so messed up, which makes perfect sense. Like, he doesn't know why Laenor is, he's been gone for years now, like years. So yeah, Seasmoke is absolutely lonely. They called it in the episode for sure, and pissed off, rightfully so. So just wanted to get onto that really quick because
what about
that
the
makes
eggs?
perfect sense. That is another rumor that those are the eggs.
She found something on TikTok where somebody confirmed it, but I don't know. I don't know if I subscribe to that yet. I'm not sure.
I don't know if I subscribe to it either. It's a really easy thing to hide. Sense. I'm not sure, but at the same time, I don't think it matters if they are or aren't. So if they are, dope. If they aren't, fine. But I'll just say right now that they are, just because I don't have proof that they're not. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I don't have proof that they aren't those eggs. So I'm just gonna say that they are until I can disprove it some way.
One more Demon Slayer note I have to address to Mrs. Sinset in chat. Christian asked her who she thinks she's gonna die or who's gonna die. First off, she said she thinks she's right on her theory early based on Christian, so you all can blame Christian if she was right. Second off, she thinks Nezuko and Zenitsu will end up living happily ever after together, and of course she would. Also, she thinks Water Serpent and Insect will end up dying. Oh, and when she thinks will die protecting his brother. And Inosuke better live.
I know the answers to all of those, and I want to tell you, but I'm not going because
God, I'm about to have to just read the manga and then just hope that it. Well, I mean, it's not even how. If you had to give a percentage of how accurate it was to the manga, what would you give it so far?
I mean, this is pretty damn close.
She said if Inosuke dies, I riot. It's her favorite.
That's fair. Inosuke is one of my favorite characters. It's 205 issues long. So compared to where we are right now, we're on. Hold on. Actually, I could probably tell you here in just a moment. If I'm being honest, we are. Ooh, we're past that. We're farther than I thought. Way farther than I thought. So if it's 205 chapters, we are each chapter. Oh, we're farther than that. Damn. Oh, we almost done, homie.
Yeah, it's and this trilogy is the wrap up. The movies are the end of the series. They're finishing with these movies, which they put out Mugen Train, so I'm sure they'll bring out the episodes, the movies broke down into episodes and put them on Crunchyroll and stuff, and then all the other streaming later. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch them as they come out. There's no shot I can let them be out in existence and me not know. So Baby Sin's about to get a babysitter. Although he does say Tanjiro. He'll say Tanjiro now, and he likes really Tanjiro, and I'm like, damn, I've probably corrupted you, letting you watch some of Demon Slayer.
We're like 140 issues in, bro. Like, maybe even past that. I just didn't want to keep looking, but yeah, we're well into it. And her saying, if Inosuke dies, I ride is hilarious because I said the same thing while reading it, and you'll understand why I'm saying that once you get into the movies. Because
stop, you're making this worse. All right, get House of Dragon. Stop. You're making it worse, Christian. It's like Christmas, and you're like holding the present, and you're like, hey, this is the best present you're ever going to get in your life. But you can't touch it or look at it. You got to wait, not this Christmas, but next Christmas you can have it. And I'm like, what the shit?
Oh, man, that's messed up.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Let's go. House of Dragon.
All right, House of the Dragon notes. I'm going to try to go through these really quickly just because.
Can I add another note?
Time. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir Kristen Cole is a dick. He's just a piece of shit. I'm ready for him to die.
Yeah. So I remember how he dies in the book, and I'm excited.
Also, this is not a spoiler. This is 200 years for Game of Thrones. Spoiler, they're all going to die at some point. Everyone in this show will be dead.
Mm-hmm. I didn't say that he, dies horribly or anything. I just don't remember how. He could have a cold. You guys don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the opening credits, you see Prince Jaehaerys, like the dead prince that got his head cut off. You see him. It's like, so the credits in this season are like stitched into, I don't know how to describe it. It's like stitches in a pattern of like a blanket or whatever. So we see the dead Prince Jaehaerys with his severed head sewed back on and his funeral gown or whatever. And then we also see the dead rat catchers in general hung on the castle wall. We see that at the beginning in the opening credits. I thought that was cool. And then we see the Battle of the Burning Mill, which I didn't expect to see in the show, especially in this way. So it's House Bracken versus House Blackwood. Their little war or whatever. I don't remember being in the book. So, and it's been a minute since I read the book, but I don't remember that being in the book at all. But whatever. These two houses have been fighting for so long, nobody remembers why they're even fighting anymore. And I think they say that in the episode when Daemon goes to Harrenhal. We'll get to that here in a minute. But this echoes Rhaenys telling Rhaenyra, pretty soon no one will remember what started this war in the first place. And I thought that was really cool that they're adding that into the show, because we need, as a viewer who hasn't read the material, the source material, that's really good to hear, because essentially how this shit's going to end. They're telegraphing all of the stuff right now. So just good writing on that point. I really like that. House Blackwood has pledged itself to Rhaenyra. House Bracken to Aegon. We find out there's an argument over the boundary stones. Both houses fall under House Tully, which is really cool. Let me see. Can't read some of my notes. House Tully in general hasn't pledged itself to either side. And then you see Simon Strong says that the I forget the guy's name. He has no control over his band. So like that's why House Bracken and House Blackwood are fighting each other, like going to war and shit, declaring it for each whatever side that they join, which is crazy. This is bad though because the Riverlands are like the most strategic point, most strategic location in all of Westeros right now. So that's why everybody wants control over the Riverlands, which is why you need Harrenhal. I think Kristen Cole says that too. If you need the Riverlands, you got to control Harrenhal. So like, there you go. Um, have a makeshift funeral for the twins, and then Rhaenys suggests that they can still avoid war if Rhaenyra reads the letter from Alicent that came, like, I think episode 1 is when that showed up. But anyway, just a lot going on there. She rightly assumes that the assassination attempt was solely Aegon's idea, just because younger minds, hotter heads, that kind of thing. She pretty much is saying like she doesn't think that Otto would do something like that because it's a calculated move, and he only makes well calculated moves because he's a politician, which ended up being true. And I like that because it gives Rhaenys agency over herself in the story, and it makes her seem a lot smarter than she has seemed in some of the other episodes. But if you really listen to what she says in every episode she's in, she says some pretty hard hitting, smart shit, bro. People just don't fucking listen to her because she's a woman. So I thought that was really cool to see. Rhaenyra is too stubborn to listen at this point, and she hasn't read the mail from Alicent. Rhaenys sows doubt, however, within Rhaenyra because she says if Rhaenyra didn't order the death of King Jaehaerys, Alicent most likely didn't order the death of her, and she wants peace. And she pretty much is saying that because we know that neither one of the women side, like we know both of them don't want war. They've been telling each other's like house that they don't want war, but the men are just like too aggro, man. They want blood and death and all that because they're men, I guess. Um, anyway, if this is true, there's still hope for reconciliation, for peace. So that's what Rhaenys is trying to do behind the scenes. She's trying to stay in Rhaenyra's ear. I like seeing all of those scenes. At King's Landing, we see that that the green Targaryen banners have been unfurled in the Red Keep. It's the same banner, it's the same name. They just have green shit instead of black shit. So that's all it is. Different colors. Kristen Cole is the new Hand of the King. He has the necklace that we've seen in the proper Game of Thrones show. I think Tyrion wore it a bunch when he was Hand of the King. So it's cool to see that in its origins, I guess. Also, he's gotten himself in a precarious position because if you see the episode, if you watch it again, notice when he's walking down those steps and you see the new people that are a part of the King's Guard that were the friends of Aegon, he doesn't reprimand them. He doesn't get them to do what they're supposed to be doing. He says nothing because his mind is so preoccupied with the fuck shit that he has to deal with now because he's Hand of the King and he wasn't ready for that position. He just wants to hurt Rhaenyra and like kind of peacock himself to Alicent so he can keep tapping that and stupid. It's so stupid. Um, I just thought that that was crazy to see. He's a fucking really bad commander. Like we see that immediately. Um, but then he redeems himself kind of. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But, Aegon's friends at the small council meeting. Not Aegon's friends. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. The small council meeting. Aegon has the Valerian dagger, the cat's paw dagger that we saw. That's the dagger that Arya kills the Night King with. That's the dagger that they tried to kill Bram with at the beginning in the first episode of Game of Thrones. Like that's the same dagger that has the Song of Ice and Fire in it if you burn it or whatever. I thought that was cool. And of course, he has it because he's king now, but he has no idea what it means. He has no idea what it says because he's not the true king. He's not the prince that was promised, all that stuff. So I really like the fact that they show that to us and they don't say anything about it, they just do it. So if you're paying attention, you notice that. The council decides what to do next. They're on the verge of war. Lord Tully has failed to control his bannermen. We get the second mention of Aegon's other brother, his youngest brother. So I thought that was cool. He was sent to Old Town to be like a war squire or some shit, and he has a dragon too. So I thought that was really cool. Um, Cole is ready to ride out with a few men that they have left to turn houses that have pledged themselves to Rhaenyra against them, and then hopefully take Harrenhal. So I thought that was cool. Um, he's just like coming up with shit to do. It's not really a good idea, but I like seeing that. I'm trying to think what else. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting, which sucks. Prince Aemon will stay behind with Vagar, even though he really wanted to go. Kristen Cole was like, "You should stay back and protect the city because he has the biggest dragon." And honestly, it makes the most fucking real. Aegon wants to go with Cole because he doesn't want to look weak, and his hubris is like at an all-time fucking high right now. But he is later swayed by Lord Larys, I think is his name actually, to stay behind because he tells him that his mother and brother are going to rule while he's gone. He pretty much just starts spreading nasty rumors that he
Did you figure out
knows
his
will
name
get.
that we called him?
I haven't figured out his name that we called him. I can't remember. We'll have to I'll have to go back and listen to the
Those out there
on the
listening, if you can
fly.
remember, let us know what name we gave him last year or the year before, whenever the hell it come out.
I really want to remember what the hell we were calling this guy, to be honest. But yeah, he gets in his head that way, shows a seed of doubt. Then he straight up hires Laris to be his full time Lord of Whispers, like right there on the spot, because he's like, "Yeah, thanks. I like what you do for me." After that, we see a lonely sea smoke, flying, looking around for purpose, essentially, which is kind of what we heard. I think in this episode earlier or in the last episode, I can't remember. I heard it from what's her name? Masaria? Is that her name? I think that's her name. The woman who pretty much saved Rhaenyra's life in the last episode. She's looking. She's the one who alerted the guards so that Rhaenyra could get saved. But she wants a place in Rhaenyra's court, which makes sense to me. She offers knowledge on the Red Keep. She's motivated by punishing the High Towers for what they did to her and the people this, which was cool. So she actually gives a shit about the people that work for her. And she also said that she's choosing Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra makes sense and she's also merciful. And she knows that the High Towers are not merciful people. They don't give a shit. I thought that was really cool. Um, what else happens? Rhaenyra sends her youngest children away, and then she tasks Rhaena to bring them to raise them essentially to be their like live, which sucks for Rhaena because she thinks nobody takes her seriously, because she doesn't have a dragon, which is kind of true, but also like you were saying earlier, she does get like the craziest task. He essentially is securing the bloodline of Rhaenyra's family and their dragons. So if anything happens to her, everybody's fucked. I thought that was really cool to see. But she's not happy about it. She's fucking pissed. Rightfully so, because back then, if you didn't get to be in the front lines of shit, that means that people didn't give. So I get it. They're going to the area. Jane Aaron, I think is her name. I think I don't even know if we've seen this woman before in this show. So I think that's her name. I can't remember. She also requested a dragon. So Rhaenyra is sending her those dragon eggs, but also I think is what it was. I can't remember. It's hard to remember. Because so much shit happened in this episode. Prince Joffrey's dragon, Thraxes, I think is his name. Thraxes? Thraxes. He's a hatchling. So she does have a dragon. That's really fucking funny. How mad would you be, Sin, if somebody's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna get you a dragon, bro." A
You
little
cut
baby
out.
dragon.
They're gonna give me a dragon and what?
Somebody promised giving you a dragon, and everything you know about dragons is these giant mythical beasts, right? And then somebody shows up to give you the dragon, and it's a little hatchling, like a little tiny dragon. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I'm gonna be like, oh, sweet, look at my little cool dragon. I'm gonna get rated, but
Mm.
I'm gonna call you, I don't know, something.
What would you name a dragon? That's a good last call
Igor.
question. We'll bring that up.
Igor.
Anyway, we'll do Igor. Is that what you just
Yeah,
said?
Igor. I don't know.
We see Damon show up to Harrenhal by himself. There's like nobody there to stand against him. They pretty much immediately surrender and pledge their loyalty to Rhaenyra, which I thought was really funny because Damon clearly gets here and wants to fight people because he's pissed off after the fight him and Rhaenyra had. But you see, the Harrenhal is straight trashed, bro. And in the book, Simon Strong gives up immediately after seeing Raxes, Damon's dragon. After he sees that, he gives up, no problem, immediately. He sees the dragon, he's like, fuck that, and gives up immediately. In the show, Simon Strong hates Larys. They call him Clubfoot, which is his nickname. Immediately hates him because he knows he had a hand in killing his family. The woman at Harrenhal, when you first see her, we first see her when Damon busts into the court where they're eating dinner or whatever, and everybody runs away. She doesn't move. She just keeps looking at Damon, doesn't run at all. And I know we talked about the rumor for this character, but right now her name is Alice Rivers, and River, excuse me, is a surname for like bastard children. So I even wrote this down because I had to look it up. I was right on this. But there is straight up a name list for all the bastard children. So Flowers is one. That's for people born in the Reach. Hill is one for the Western lands. Stone is for the Vale. Storm is for the Stormlands, obviously. Rivers is for the Riverlands, obviously. Waters is for the Crown Lands. Pike is for the Pike Islands. Snow is for anybody born in the North, which we already knew. And then we also knew that Sand is for anybody born in Dorne. So I thought I wanted to just bring that up real quick, just so we had that together. In the book, this character is a serving wench who apparently knows spells and potions, or she's a full-on witch who bathes in the blood of virgins. Nobody knows which one is true because, as you guys know, the narrators, plural, aren't reliable. So they say a lot of shit about her. But she's supposed to be versed in magic in some way. I just assume that she's the person who gave Damon that fucking weird fever dream about young Rhaenyra sewing on Jaehaerys's head again.
Which we get a cameo of that actress, young Rhaenyra, again.
Which was great because she was my favorite Rhaenyra. Then you have the rumor that she is young Melisandre, which honestly, fuck with that rumor. I think that that's true.
Wait, who's young?
So Alice Rivers, the young woman in Harrenhal that told Damon he was gonna die. That's the person that they're talking about. That is the rumor to be young Melisandre.
Well, I thought it was a different one that they were saying she was.
That's the only woman that was there.
No, I thought it was a different, like, red lady or lady in red or whatever the hell they're called.
I mean, no, it's that's the rumor that they're the same person.
Oh.
Yeah, Snow is the. Did I not say that? Snow is the North. My bad. I just read that in the chat. Yeah, if I didn't say that, my bad. I can't believe I messed that up. In the book, it says that she looks super, super young, by the way, but she's supposed to be like well into her 40s. I thought that was really cool. Damon wakes up and he's next to a weirwood tree, which is the tree that we see in the original Game of Thrones show that had the first men, where they had the visions of the Night Kings, where Bronn went to learn how to be the three-eyed raven. So like all the people having like prophecy dreams and shit like that all happens next to those trees. So I thought that was really cool that he woke up next to one of those. Let's see. I don't remember. Oh, taking Harrenhal is essentially like Damon's grand gesture to Rhaenyra, showing her that he is submissive to her in that way. And That's all he does is grand gestures. We saw that in the original season when he took what was his name, the crab feeder, when he killed him and brought his crown or whatever back to Viserys. Like that's what he does is grand gestures. That's how he apologizes instead of just saying, "Hey, I fucked up." We see Kristen Cole. He meets Sir Gawain Hightower, which I forgot all about him. Also, when the fuck did Cole get a haircut? Like at the beginning of the episode, he had his regular hair, and then he shows up before he rides
Bro, it's
off,
the
and he
Hand of
has
the
a
King.
haircut.
He had to get shaped up.
I guess so, man, because he got a quick cut, is what I'll say. Quick haircut.
Yeah, he needed to get his
Anyway,
gold back for it too.
yeah. Sir Gawain Hightower is Alicent's brother, which they never mentioned in the show before, but you see that the Black Council wants war. Rhaenyra doesn't want war, but she looks weak because Daemon is gone, and they don't really trust her to run things the right way because she's a woman, which we can clearly see when they're arguing. Rhaenys puts them all in their place, though, like real quick. After Rhaenyra leaves, she pretty much tells them that Viserys, his reign was long as fuck, and it was also very peaceful, and he reigned longer than like any of the like conqueror people. So like, I thought that was really dope. Rain, I already said that Rhaena got the dragon eggs as a favor. I think I just wrote it earlier on accident. Helena forgives Alicent for banging Kristen Cole instead of saving her child, which crazy. Then we see, I think his name is Ulf White, Olaf or Ulf Youth. I forget his name. It's ULF, so I don't know how to pronounce that. But he's going to the tavern slash brothel and claims to be the son of Balon Targaryen, which is Daemon's dad. Um, Saying that they're half brothers, and he would also be in that case a dragon seed. And a dragon seed is really just a bastard who can claim a dragon because they have Targaryen blood in them. Which is because John, I was gonna say that's what Jon Snow is, but he ended up the actual king and shit. So never mind. But in that scene, so in the scene when they're in the tavern and the dude's trying to make everybody think that he's like a half-blooded Targaryen and shit. Do you remember the barmaid in that scene? Like, I think she got her butt slapped and she like looked real shocked and then walked away.
Yeah.
That's the same woman from season 1 that got pregnant by Aegon when he assaulted her. And she got fired by Alicent. She was given some coins to keep quiet, and they gave her moon tea to kill the baby. Do you remember all that?
I didn't know that was her.
That's the same girl. Like if you go back and look at her face, girl, she's just a little bit older. Like it's easy to miss, but yeah, same woman. It took me a minute, but I saw her. And I was like, she looks familiar, but she's gone so quick. I had to watch. His tall tale pretty much ends as soon as Aegon walks in. He walks in. He's obviously a little drunk, and then he offers to pay for everybody's drinks, thanks to the crown's money, which is insane and very stupid. And Aegon finds Aemon in bed, fully naked again, looking vulnerable, with the brothel madam, and they start mocking. Aegon starts mocking him and mocking him and mocking him, and Aemon keeps his cool, man. He doesn't. He's really reserved. He doesn't lash out, and he just gets up fully naked, dong flapping in the wind, and just walks off. So I was like, damn, all right. I fully expected him to crash the fuck out right there. You go back to Dragonstone. Rhaenyra finally reads the note.
He does make mention of something like, "You can have her. She's just another whore," or something like that.
Yeah, he does say something like
Yeah,
that. Of course,
pretty much like demeans her.
posturing, which is crazy because he clearly has some kind of feelings for her. Then we also find out real quick, Wayne Hightower is a fucking dumbass, and he wants to take a detour to go to an inn so he can honestly, so he can drink and like hook up with somebody. And then Kristen is like, we're out here in the open. We're going to get attacked by a dragon. And then they do because Baela swoops down on fucking I'll say Dragon Dancer, on Moon Dancer. And that chase scene was dope as fuck. Like, I don't know how you felt about it, but I was like, oh shit, finally, I like this. It was really cool to see. First of all, Moon Dancer looks dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I know he's a small dragon, but damn, he looked cool swooping down like that. And we know that the smaller dragons are faster anyway, so I thought that was really nice. He's fast as fuck, boy. That's literally what my note says.
Jeez.
Oh my god. Anyway, the soldiers get away. They hide in the trees. Bayla goes back to tell the Black Council what was happening and they should be looking out for Kristen Cole because he's making moves. Saria is already the master of whispers, like immediately, and helps Rhaenyra get into King's Landing to go see Alicent. Now, here's the thing: this whole fucking ending scene is not in the book at all. I don't know why they put it in here. I don't know why they changed it. I don't know what it's going to mean for future seasons, but none of this was in the book. And long story short, Rhaenyra sneaks into King's Landing, sneaks into the church to go see Alicent, and they have a conversation. Two things happen immediately. They both tell each other that they didn't kill each other's children, and they also tell each other that they don't desire bloodshed. Excuse me. So when this scene was happening, I was very confused because I didn't know why they added this. It's not really supposed to be in the book. I mean, in the show, but they added it for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if they explained it after the fact, like, after the episode when they show you like the behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if they added it in that or not because I didn't. Alicent swears up and down like Viserys named Aegon as king before he died. This happened, and Rhaenyra is pretty much sounds like straight bullshit to me. I talked to him the same day, and then all of a sudden he just said "fuck me" and named this other person king. It's right before he died. That's like really convenient. Alicent stands on that hill and then tells her he said that he was the prince who was promised, which gives Rhaenyra all the confirmation she needs to know that her dad never turned against her. He loved her unconditionally and named her heir because the prince that was promised is obviously referring to Aegon the Conqueror, not Aegon the Second. So Rhaenyra knows what's up. And if you look at that scene, you can see for a second that Alicent believes Rhaenyra and knows that she fucked up, but it's too late. She's already started war. She's already gone too far to turn back now. So I really, really like that. So Rhaenyra was right, and I really love seeing that. And she also has like the moral high ground at this point because she knows that what she's doing is right. So I really, really like that because the High Towers just fucking suck and nobody likes them that I know of. So fuck them. And that's it. That's the whole episode. But I don't remember you noticed or mentioning in your notes or Mrs. Sin's notes. So hopefully that'll make you want to go and look at the episode again. But we'll see, man. What were your final thoughts after the episode was over?
I thought it was another good episode. I mean, I've enjoyed every week. I like Game of Thrones. I think they're doing a good job. I'm ready for the bloodshed to start. I know they're building towards it, and they're gonna tease us until we get the oh shit. But when it starts, I'm sure it's about to get pretty crazy pretty quick. So,
one more thing I wanted to say. There was a lot of dong.
Yeah.
Like, good God. Like, I mean, it's whatever.
So,
but I just wasn't
prepared.
Can
we say that the old saying is semi-true? I guess it was a little different saying in Targaryen time, though.
What's the old saying?
The bigger the dragon, the smaller the dong.
I'm assuming that was like a prosthetic. You know what? The rules are different.
You're breaking up, so all your dong talk we're not hearing.
I was just saying that rules are different in the UK, so that was probably your boy's like actual jump. It's just flopping around.
I mean, bless him. One eye and just not. I don't know. I don't know how to help him there.
Hey, it's not his fault. He was cursed with a dick tag.
Yeah. Bless your heart, Eamon. I'm glad you can fight well. Glad you can fight and you got a huge dragon. Because
the over conversation. Yeah. But yeah, that was the episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. we got a lot of information in this episode. Actually, not politicking has politicked its way into me being super excited for the next episode. Like I always am after every episode. So yeah, man, I really liked it. I give this episode a solid 8 out of 10. Go watch it if you haven't already. And don't take my notes as an excuse to not watch the episode. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff.
Watch the
I
episodes.
over-explain things. I under-explain things. I even wrote a list here of the bastard names for people, because I was curious about it, so I had to go back and look it up. But anyway, that's the notes. I think I'm done here.
I need it's almost getting time where I want to rewatch Game of Thrones again, but I don't know if I'm there yet.
I feel you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much all we had to talk about. So it's time that we
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
whiskey
as we go into last call. Before I go to chat, has the one and only Jordan graced us with anything?
Not this week, but I think that's just because I was unaware that we were recording a day early.
Threw a curveball and got him.
We did.
Oh, it's okay.
I did say something earlier.
We can go with that. And then wait, do you have a question too?
Yeah, I do. It's hopefully pretty quick. I said it earlier, but I was actually curious. Like, if you were gifted a dragon, what would you name that dragon?
I don't know.
Think about it and get back to me. But you said you had another question.
We'll get back to that in just a second. Okay, yeah. So Mrs. Sin in chat just said she named her dragon either Starfire or Blackfire. Okay.
That's dope. That's from DC, from Teen Titans. I love that.
Okay. Whatever. So her question was, last call question, Joffrey style from Game of Thrones when he tortures the bard. If you had a choice, would you rather lose your most dominant hand or your tongue? Tongue.
Man,
Joffrey
tongue,
style is
tongue.
not going to matter. You're going to lose one or the other, and you're going to die anyways. But I'm going to go tongue.
I'd have to second that one because dominant hand. Like I use my dominant hand all the time for ass. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go tongue for sure. Back to the dragon. Dude, what would I name my dragon? I don't know. That's awful for me because I do so bad naming characters. Like, I think about it way too much. I do really like, there was a dragon named Balerion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's pretty sick.
That would be a cool name. Not gonna lie. I think that'd be dope.
Was it Balerion the Dread? Is that what that one was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's sick. I'm gonna go with that. I like that.
Okay. So, like I said,
or
I
if
think
it's a
that's
little
good
tiny
name.
dragon, maybe Igor.
Did you say Eeyore?
Igor.
Okay.
Get
I don't know
him.
why I keep hearing.
He's gonna be like.
I don't know why I keep hearing that.
He's gonna bite some ankles.
I'm trying to remember what the dragon's name was in the movie. Do you remember that movie?
You broke up when you said in the movie. After that, I didn't hear it.
Oh, sorry, Dragonheart. Do you remember that movie?
I remember it. I don't remember the name.
I'm trying to remember that dragon's name, and I cannot remember my life.
Ooh,
And
you should just name it Falcor.
Falcor?
Isn't that his name?
Why?
Wait.
Falcor.
Am I wrong?
I don't remember that.
No, yeah,
being
it's Falcor. Never-ending story.
Oh, that dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the Dragonheart, his name is straight up Draco. That would just make me think of Draco Malfoy. I probably wouldn't want that. But if I had to name the dragon, I'd probably name it. Honestly, I'd probably name my dragon really like Cedric.
This is Mike the Dragon. I don't know. Everybody's got all these cool
Probably
dragon
not.
names. And you're like, my dragon's name is Sam.
I don't know. I have to give it like I want to have it a strong name, but I also want to be able to say it quickly. You know what I'm saying? So if I name my dragon Evangelion or something like that, I wouldn't be able to say that quick inch. Also, if I needed to like yell my dragon's name, eat somebody or something, I need to be able to say it quickly. So, like, can you imagine having a dragon getting ready? Cedric, no. Or Evangelion, the Dread, no. You know what I'm saying? It's just quicker. Just rolls off the tongue.
Oh my God. Whatever.
Or I would name it Charizard.
There you go. Just name it Charizard. Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Sippin' With Sin. We appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, you're a real one, and we appreciate you so very much. Be sure to check out all new episodes, including this one, every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and then other places that podcasts are available. And then the YouTube video, the video version of the podcast comes out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. So be sure to check that out. Thumbs up, subscribe to it. Follow the podcast on the audio platforms. Whatever. Show it love. Rate it 5 stars. We greatly appreciate it. And, yeah, every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, new episodes. You can find Sippin' With Sin on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, at Sippin' With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin. Go drop a follow. Go say hello over there. And you, of course, can submit your last call questions there. You can watch the live recording of it on kick.com/IamSinister. And you can drop your last call question there. We do these every Thursday, minus today. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So come hang out with us there. And, of course, if you can't watch the live recording, then check it out on the audio platforms and YouTube. You can find me on my personal socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, all that stuff at IamSinister TV, as well as Twitch at IamSinister TV. You can find me live streaming on kick.com/IamSinister. YouTube.com/IamSinister. And then, yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Vin and Ink. That's all.
And you broke up during all your plugs.
Man, come on, Mike. What you doing to me? I was just saying that you guys can find me on Instagram and Ink. That's all one word. You guys can also find me on the TikTok at Christian Vincent, my full name. Nice. I tried to proper belief. I don't like social media that much, so it's the only place you guys can find me.
All right. Nice. Of course, check out my other podcast, Behind the Vocals. Episodes come out every Friday, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube. Same YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. And, of course, on Spotify and Apple. And then check out Christian's other podcast, Horrorverse, whenever he gets back to doing them, which hopefully will be soon. On audio platforms and then all that good stuff and things. And you can check it out on Twitter and Instagram too. There you go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. We'll see you guys next week. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. It's time for Christian to shut it down.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review. Click that like button. Tell us what you want us to review. Tell us what you want us to not do it. Read you saying it. With that said, guys, I'm going to leave you with 3 words that I leave you with every week. If you've heard these words before, say them with me. But if you have not, listen closely because they may just save your life. Those words are as follows. Don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.